when you look at the pituitary gland is basically divided into two parts. So you will have what we call an anterior pituitary gland, and you will also end up with what we call a posterior pituitary gland. So this portion here, all the way up to here, holds the anterior pituitary gland, and then you have the posterior pituitary gland. Because when you're looking at it from this end, you're looking at it from the lateral aspect. Anteriorly, you would be looking at it from this end. So this then gives you the anterior pituitary gland, and behind it you have the posterior pituitary gland. So the anterior pituitary gland is what is referred to as the adenohypophysis. So this here is going to give us an adenohypophysis. So you will notice that most of the terminologies will obviously include hypophysis or hypophyse. Why? Because the pituitary gland itself is referred to as the hypophysis. And because you have the posterior aspect here, or the posterior pituitary gland, which is connected by way of nerves to the hypothalamus, you will then end up with a posterior pituitary gland that is referred to as the neurohypophysis. So this part here is going to be called the neurohypophysis. Okay, so that will be the neurohypophysis. Now, in between the two lobes of the pituitary gland, you have a small cleft within the anterior part of the pituitary gland, and that is going to be referred to as the hypophyseal cleft. So that is a hypophyseal cleft. So if we label that as hypophyseal, cleft. So because there is a cleft, then it more or less creates something that also looks like another lobe. So that middle part is what we then refer to as the pars intermedia of the hypophysis. So this here is going to be pars intermedia of the hypophysis. So it is also an important area because it does produce endorphins and also produces melanocyte stimulating hormones. This here is going to be the pars nervosa, okay, of the hypophysis. And then on the other end here, the distal end, this here would then be referred to as the pars distalis